What happens when you shrink a snowmobile down to the size of a child's toy, but give it a real engine and real capabilities? What if I told you there are snow machines so small they can fit in the trunk of a car, yet still carry riders across frozen landscapes at surprising speeds? Would you believe me if I said some of the most innovative engineering in the snowmobile industry has come not from building bigger, but from building impossibly small? Today, we are exploring a world most people have never seen. A world of miniature machines that challenged everything the snowmobile industry thought it knew. From 82-pound vintage classics to electric snow scooters that are redefining winter transportation. These are the smallest and most absurd snowmobiles you probably had no idea existed. Buckle up, because this journey through miniature snow machines is going to change how you think about winter recreation. The Larkin Wee-Lark, introduced in 1970, became what many historians consider the smallest production snowmobile ever built. At just 82 pounds, this tiny machine could be picked up and carried by a single adult. It was powered by a Clinton 92cc two-stroke engine producing just 3 horsepower, with a top speed of about 12 miles per hour. Those specifications might sound laughable compared to modern performance sleds, but that was never the point. The Wee-Lark was not designed for crossing vast wilderness areas or setting speed records. It was designed for backyards, frozen ponds, and the kind of casual winter fun that previously required expensive equipment and complicated logistics. For families living in California who wanted to experience snow recreation in the Sierra Nevada mountains, the Wee-Lark was a revelation. No trailer needed, no expensive truck, just toss it in the trunk and go. What made the Wee-Lark truly remarkable was its simplicity. While full-size snowmobiles of the era had complex suspension systems, multiple cylinders, and sophisticated engineering, the Wee-Lark stripped everything down to the absolute essentials: a small engine, a narrow 10-inch wide rubber track, and a single transverse leaf spring shared by both skis. That was it. No complicated chain drives. No elaborate suspension. The machine was so basic that almost anyone with a screwdriver and a wrench could maintain it. And its low price point made snowmobiling accessible to families who could never afford a full-sized sled. I find it incredible that a company founded on restoring World War II airplanes ended up revolutionizing how Americans thought about winter recreation. The lateral thinking required to go from aircraft restoration to miniature snowmobiles is exactly the kind of creative problem-solving that defines great engineering. The Wee-Lark's slightly larger sibling, the Ski-Lark, weighed 106 pounds and added a bit more power with its 4-horsepower Tecumseh engine. Some later models came with a 5-horsepower 130cc engine for a bit more punch. Larkin advertised it as being 1/3 the size, 1/3 the weight, and 1/3 the price of conventional snowmobiles. The claimed top speed of 20 to 25 miles per hour was not exactly thrilling by snowmobile standards, but that was never the point. The point was accessibility. The point was getting families into snowmobiling who had been priced out of the market. The Ski-Lark and Wee-Lark actually sold in decent numbers throughout the early and mid-1970s, proving that Larkin's vision had merit. The low prices made dealers willing to stock them, and the portability made customers willing to buy them despite their modest performance. The Wee-Lark was a prime example of less is more. I was particularly intrigued by the fact that despite having only 3 horsepower, it showcased Keith Larkin's courage to go against the grain while everyone else was focusing on increasingly larger, heavier, and more expensive machines. It's quite curious that a company founded by a Wubyafuutian pilot, someone accustomed to restoring complex aircraft, chose to create something so simple and even playful when you think about it. In engineering, we are constantly learning, and a valuable lesson is that simplicity always wins. While competitors were investing in sophisticated suspensions and multiple cylinders, the Wee-Lark utilized just a single transverse leaf spring for both skis. This design allowed the model to weigh only 32 kg, making it incredibly easy to transport. You could just toss it in the trunk of your car and go. When I first saw the top speed of 19 km/h, I thought it was slow. However, considering we are talking about the 1970s, it was actually a significant step forward. The Wee-Lark brought more freedom to families who wanted to have fun in the snow without needing expensive trailers or trucks. It proved its worth not through brute force, but through a simple design that provided a real solution for people's lives. Around the same time, up in Thief River Falls, Minnesota, another revolution was taking place. Arctic Cat, already a major player in the full-size snowmobile market with a reputation for performance and innovation, unveiled the Kitty Cat in 1971. Unlike the Larkin machines, which were aimed at budget-conscious adults looking for portable recreation, the Kitty Cat was designed specifically for children ages 5 to 10. This was a significant moment in the industry that deserves recognition. Previously, kids who wanted to ride snowmobiles had to wait until they were old enough and big enough to handle adult machines. The Kitty Cat changed that paradigm completely. It was small enough to fit in the trunk of a car, yet styled to look exactly like a real Arctic Cat snowmobile. The spotted vinyl seat cover matched the company's famous leopard print styling. The black hood, the molded plastic hand controls that mimicked adult machines. Everything was designed to make young riders feel like they were operating a real snowmobile rather than a toy. The Kitty Cat's safety features were ahead of its time and showed that Arctic Cat was serious about responsible youth recreation. A speed limiter restricted the top speed to between 8 and 12 miles per hour, depending on the model year and the setting chosen by parents. A kill switch allowed parents to shut down the engine from a distance if the situation required immediate intervention. The throttle was designed to be forgiving, without the hair trigger response of performance sleds. And the low center of gravity made the machine surprisingly stable for its size, reducing the risk of tip-overs that could injure young riders. The engineering team clearly thought through the unique challenges of designing for children rather than simply shrinking adult components. Production of the Kitty Cat ran from 1972 until 2000, an incredible 28-year run that proved the concept had staying power far beyond a temporary trend. Hundreds of thousands of children learned to ride on Kitty Cats, and many of them went on to become lifelong snowmobile enthusiasts. Today, vintage Kitty Cats in good condition sell for more than their original list price. Collectors prize them not just for nostalgia, but because they represent a turning point in how the industry thought about its youngest customers. Every major manufacturer eventually followed Arctic Cat's lead with youth models. But the Kitty Cat was first and remained the standard for nearly 3 decades. Interestingly, the Kitty Cat was not even the smallest machine in Arctic Cat's lineup during this period. That distinction went to the House Cat, an inflatable plastic snowmobile designed for toddlers. Yes, you read that correctly. Arctic Cat made an inflatable snowmobile. It was not motorized at all. Instead, toddlers would sit on it and push themselves along with their legs across the snow, like a winter version of those ride-on toys you see in playgrounds. The House Cat was designed to indoctrinate the youngest potential customers and prepare them for the big move up to the gasoline-powered Kitty Cat when they reach the appropriate age. While it might seem like a gimmick, it showed just how seriously Arctic Cat took the concept of growing their customer base from the ground up. The arrival of the Kitty Cat in 1971 marked a major shift in the industry. As we all know, our children are our future. With that in mind, they shifted their focus. Instead of trying to sell only to adults, they pivoted to children. The most brilliant part of it all was that the brand didn't want to make a cheap toy. Instead, they created a faithful miniature of high-performance machines, complete with the famous leopard print seat and controls that mimicked real full-sized models. Another stroke of genius was the priority they placed on safety. Features like the speed governor, a low center of gravity to prevent tipping, and the remote kill switch showed a deep respect for both parents and young riders. The company focused on crafting a genuine experience for children rather than simply shrinking down components, and I believe that is exactly how they won over the public and, consequently, boosted sales. I also found the existence of the House Cat quite clever, an inflatable motorless version for even younger toddlers. This strategy of building brand loyalty from the cradle was so effective that the Kitty Cat remained in production for nearly 30 years, creating entire generations of enthusiasts who now pay top dollar for collector models today. It wasn't just a snowmobile, it ended up shaping a lifestyle that transformed the market for decades. Ski-Doo entered the mini snowmobile market with their own approach. The Mini Z was a compact youth machine that became an instant collector's item when Ski-Doo discontinued production in 2011 due to limited demand. The Mini Z was styled to look like Ski-Doo's full-sized performance sleds, complete with aggressive graphics and a low profile that mimicked the Revi platform design. For young riders who wanted to copy their parents' machines exactly, the Mini Z delivered an authentic experience in a pint-sized package. The 123cc four-stroke engine produced 6.5 horsepower and was limited to 13 kilometers per hour, while the larger MXZ 200 generated 9 horsepower with a maximum speed of 50 kilometers per hour. Since its discontinuation, the Mini Z has become increasingly rare, and collectors are willing to pay premium prices for well-maintained examples. The limited production run and distinctive styling have made it one of the most sought-after vintage youth sleds on the market. Parents who rode Mini Zs as children are now seeking them out for their own kids, creating a nostalgic demand cycle that keeps prices climbing year after year. Yamaha's contribution to the mini snowmobile world came in the form of the Snow Scoot, first introduced in 1987. The original Snow Scoot featured an 80cc two-stroke air-cooled engine suitable for small children without being overly powerful. Production ran from 1987 to 1991, and despite modest sales compared to the Kitty Cat, the Snow Scoot developed a loyal following among Yamaha enthusiasts. The Japanese engineering brought a level of refinement that some riders preferred over the American alternatives. In 2018, Yamaha revived the Snow Scoot name with a completely redesigned 200cc model that represented a new generation of youth snowmobiles. This new Snow Scoot, and its Arctic Cat sibling the ZR200, which shares the same platform, has been called one of the most significant snowmobiles to hit the industry in the past decade. The reason is simple. It is a full-featured snowmobile in a pint-sized package, with appropriately sized power and features for young riders, but handling and capability that mirrors adult machines. Young riders can learn proper technique on a machine that behaves like real sleds rather than an oversimplified toy. Now let me take you into the modern era where technology is completely redefining what a small snow machine can be. Moonbikes, a French company, has created what they call the world's first electric snowbike. At about 192 pounds, the Moonbike is incredibly compact compared to traditional snowmobiles, which typically weigh 500 to 600 pounds or more. It features a direct-drive electric motor that requires minimal maintenance, with fewer than 200 parts total in the entire machine. Compare that to a traditional snowmobile with thousands of components, fuel systems, exhaust systems, cooling systems, and you begin to understand how revolutionary this design truly is. There is no chain, no belt, no carburetor to adjust, no oil to change. The engineering simplicity is reminiscent of the Larkin approach from the 1970s, but executed with modern technology. The top speed of 26 miles per hour might not sound impressive compared to performance sleds that can exceed 100 miles per hour. But on a machine this compact and maneuverable, it feels faster than you would expect. The Moonbike can handle powder up to 12 inches deep and runs for up to 1.5 hours on a single battery charge in temperatures as low as -13 degrees Fahrenheit. The low center of gravity and narrow width of just 70.5 centimeters gives it outstanding maneuverability that feels more like skiing than traditional snowmobiling. Riders can carve through trees and navigate tight trails that would be impossible on larger machines. The electric motor is nearly silent, opening up possibilities for riding in noise-sensitive areas where gas-powered machines are prohibited. National parks and wilderness areas that have long banned snowmobiles might reconsider when the machines produce no exhaust and no noise. The Moonbike is a new technology that has brought incredible mobility to the market. What intrigues me most isn't just the electric propulsion, but the efficiency of the design. While a conventional snowmobile has thousands of parts that can drive us crazy during assembly, the Moonbike operates with fewer than 200. This absence of chains, belts, and exhaust systems doesn't just make life easier for us buyers, it eliminates the mechanical barrier that often intimidates newcomers. You gain true freedom instead of being tethered to constant and often expensive maintenance. For me, the best part is the riding experience. With a width of only 70.5 centimeters and an extremely low center of gravity, it turns the snow into a ski slope. It allows for maneuvers in dense forests where other machines, which can weigh upwards of 250 kg, could never pass. Although 42 km/h might seem modest on paper, when you're out there, you get the sensation of gliding silently through deep powder. Without the smell of fuel or the deafening noise, you can actually enjoy nature. Furthermore, the zero environmental impact is very relevant today. The fact that it can operate in temperatures as low as 25 degrees Celsius and is permitted in conservation areas where internal combustion engines are banned opens a new window for ecotourism. It is proof that winter recreation doesn't have to be loud to be thrilling. Taiga Motors, a Canadian company, took a different approach to electric snow machines. While Moonbikes focused on creating something small and lightweight for recreational use, Taiga built the world's first full-sized electric snowmobile with the Nomad. The 90-horsepower permanent magnet electric motor can push the Nomad to 60 miles per hour, with a claimed range of 62 miles per charge. This is not a toy or a novelty. This is a serious snow machine that happens to run on electricity instead of gasoline. For riders who want electric performance without compromising on power and range, the Taiga Nomad represents where the entire industry is heading. The quiet operation and instant torque of electric motors are changing how people think about snowmobiling. No more ear-splitting engine noise, no more exhaust fumes. Just pure, clean power, delivered silently across frozen landscapes. The timber sled ripper represents yet another approach to compact snow transportation that has gained significant popularity in recent years. Instead of building a complete snowmobile from scratch, timber sled creates conversion kits that transform existing dirt bikes into snow machines. The ripper, designed specifically for 110cc youth dirt bikes, replaces the front wheel with a ski and the rear wheel with a track system. The result is a hybrid vehicle that combines the lightweight agility of a dirt bike with the snow capability of a snowmobile. For families who already own dirt bikes and want winter riding capability without buying separate machines, the timber sled approach makes perfect economic sense. The company has been refining snowbike technology since 2010 and now offers systems for a wide range of dirt bikes, from youth 110cc machines all the way up to full-power 450cc motocross bikes. I want to take you to a completely different world now, one that predates everything else we have discussed. During World War II, the Soviet Red Army faced a unique challenge. How do you move troops, supplies, and ammunition across the vast frozen expanses of Russia and Finland during the brutal winter months when temperatures drop to -40 and snow covers everything? Wheeled vehicles got stuck constantly. Tracked vehicles were slow, loud, and consumed enormous amounts of fuel. The answer came in the form of the aerosani, propeller-driven sledges that skimmed across the ice and snow at remarkable speeds. The RF-8, one of the most successful aerosani designs used during the Winter War and World War II, was a light plywood vehicle on skis powered by an aircraft engine and propeller mounted on the rear. These machines could carry 4 to 5 soldiers and tow several more on skis behind them. They were fast, relatively quiet compared to tracked vehicles, and could traverse terrain that would stop conventional transport. The Red Army used them for communication, for delivering ammunition, fuel, and supplies to the front lines, for independent patrols and reconnaissance missions, and for evacuating wounded soldiers on the return journey. The concept of using aviation technology for over-snow transportation was brilliantly innovative, and the aerosani remained in Soviet military service for decades. Young Igor Sikorsky, who would later become famous for developing helicopters, designed and tested aerosledges as early as 1909, showing that the concept has deep roots in Russian engineering history. Comparing all these machines reveals fascinating insights about how engineering priorities have shifted over the decades. The vintage machines prioritized simplicity, affordability, and accessibility above all else. The Wee-Lark at 82 pounds and 3 horsepower was designed to be something anyone could operate, anyone could maintain, and almost anyone could afford. The modern machines prioritize technology, efficiency, and environmental impact. The Moonbike with its electric motor and minimal maintenance requirements represents a completely different philosophy about what recreation should look like. Both approaches solved real problems for real people. The 1970s machines brought snowmobiling to people who could never afford traditional sleds. The 2020s machines are bringing snowmobiling to places where gas engines are prohibited, and noise pollution is a legitimate concern. The future of compact snow machines looks incredibly promising. Electric technology will continue to improve, with batteries becoming lighter and more energy-dense every year. We will see range and performance continue to increase while weight and size decrease. The concept pioneered by the Larkin brothers in the 1970s, that snow machines could be small, simple, and accessible, is being reborn through electric power. Young riders today have more options than any previous generation. They can start on 120 CEC youth sleds, graduate to 200 CEC machines, or take a completely different path with electric snowbikes and conversion kits. You probably knew some of these machines existed, but I bet at least a few surprised you. The 82-pound Wee-Lark, the inflatable house cat, the propeller-driven aerosani. If you want more deep dives into vehicles that most people have never heard of, subscribe. We go where other channels do not dare to go. We find the forgotten machines, the experimental prototypes, and the innovations that changed industries. Which of these tiny snow machines impressed you the most? Was it the 82-pound Wee-Lark from 1970, the silent electric Moonbike, or the propeller-driven Soviet aerosani? Let me know in the comments. The snow will keep falling every winter, and somewhere out there, someone is already working on the next generation of compact snow machines. Lighter, faster, more efficient, and more accessible than anything we have seen before. The pioneering spirit that built the first Wee-Lark over 50 years ago is still alive in workshops and engineering labs around the world. It has just evolved with new technology. And I cannot wait to see what comes next.